Welcome back to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Ewell, and today I got a very special guest, Christy Darin, who's the owner of Regenerative Health and Weight Loss. Christy, I want to welcome you on the show today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewell. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring you on the show today, talk a little bit about your story, just your experience in the program, and, just kind of like the things you're up to. For those that might be listening and not really know who you are or what you do, can you give us kind of a couple minute, how you got started in the chiropractic space and then kind of like what you're doing now?
Okay, sure. So 16 years I've graduated from Logan now. So I kind of got started into chiropractic because I was really good at wrecking cars as a kid, and you're not supposed to be good at that, but you find out what neck and back pain's like. And I was never good at being a pill taker. So I found out that there were options on doing pain relief naturally without drugs and surgery. And I think that's most chiropractors' story on that end. So fast forward, graduated Logan in '08, and about 2 years ago, we transitioned from just straight chiropractic and rehabilitation in our office to adding a nurse practitioner. We now have physician assistant. So we're a multidisciplinary office now, and that offers a lot of different options for our patients. It's been a really good add-on.
That's awesome. So, you've been a chiropractor 16 years. What, for any other chiropractors out there that might be listening, what maybe is one of the biggest things that that have frustrated you with the chiropractic space, as you kind of started out in the industry?
So as far as starting off, or where I am now compared to where
just starting off, we can start there and then kind of like now.
So on the very front end getting started, I opened a practice in an area that I knew a ton of people. And I think that we might all be under the misconception of, if I open the doors where I know people, it's if I build it, they will come, and they just magically come in your door. And that's not the case. So marketing is a huge thing, and reaching out to people and actually knowing how to do that versus just opening the doors. So there was a lot of training and a lot of coaching I've done through the years through different systems. And that was definitely most beneficial for getting started. And now again, 16 years later, I'm at the point where, my bones are starting to hurt from doing physical things for a while. I had a UCL tear at the beginning of COVID. So, adjusting with my elbow, ganglion cyst in my wrist. And I'm just trying to figure out how I can do other things without less physical activity on my body and still make the same amount of money, if not more, because everybody knows insurance reimbursements aren't going up. So we have to see more people for less money to make the same, unless we're going to be able to diversify our services or sell better, higher price packages and more cash services. So that's been a big
That's
change.
awesome. So you've been a chiropractor. I think, the biggest thing in the chiropractic space is there's the kind of the old way is there's really only two ways to grow, right? There's either you adjust more people, which it sounds like you've kind of tried that one and your body started to break down, or you hire an associate, and not that either one of those are bad, but like one's typically a recipe for burnout. The other one, the average associate, I think today stays with somebody for 12 to 18 months, which means you kind of got to go through that whole process, every 12 to 18 months. What made you want to transition to that multidisciplinary style clinic?
Multiple things. So first off, say Medicare patients. As a chiropractor, we don't get paid to do exams. I can't order an x-ray for a Medicare patient or an MRI and get it paid for by their insurance. So just being able to do that alone is leaps and bounds. I don't know what the average chiropractor sees as far as percentage of Medicare patients, but I'll say 12% of our practice is Medicare. If I can get paid on 12% of the exams that I wasn't necessarily getting paid for before, most Medicare patients are on a fixed income, and they don't want to pay you $75 for an exam here and then, a few months from now and do it all over again, where the medical practitioner can get paid for that. And that's easily $75 in your pocket, sometimes more, depending upon the level that they're doing. And it's good for your patients to have a different set of eyes, a different medical set. Other services, like we're trying to refer to ortho or neuro or pain management. Our medical staff is able to do steroid injections, trigger point injections. We get much more easily approved through insurances for ordering MRIs and things of such when they're the one requesting it versus chiro. It's just really been a good add-on for our patients to not have to wait 3 weeks or 3 months even to get into a specialist when there's different things we can handle in-house. That's been helpful
Right.
for patients on diversity.
What, if you have another chiropractor that might be listening to this, what is that kind of translated for you as far as being able to help more people? But not only that, like from a financial standpoint, how has that benefited you just in your business?
So, like I said, if we're just talking Medicare exams alone, I mean, that add-on just for the exam fee is huge. And then you get more into the specialized services like the steroid injections, the trigger point injections. We've recently added some of the weight loss programs, and that is 100% cash. We've added some different cosmetic things like Botox and fillers too. Again, 100% cash. With the weight loss, I mean, the program we're doing is a 3-month program just to get started. And that's a $1,600 cash program. Botox depends upon, how many units they're doing. I mean, the average on that is 300 to 500, filler 500. That's all cash in my pocket. That's a huge add-on that as chiros we can't do.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm kind of hearing from you is you kind of went from being a chiropractor to being kind of a business owner, CEO, and started to look at, hey, what are other things that I could add on into my practice that complement what I'm already doing, but give people kind of almost like a one-stop shop, right? When it comes to their health and when it comes to their body. What made you, really start kind of going down the weight loss path? Because that's really when I kind of started to meet you and
Yeah, that's how we got it.
find out more about you.
So for most of our chiropractic patients and really a good percentage of the population, we could all lose, a good 15, 20, 100 pounds, sometimes even more than that. Most of your chiropractic patients, my knees hurt, my back hurts, a little extra weight through that midsection. Yeah, your back's going to hurt. You got 50 extra pounds. I don't know why my knees are crying all the time. So those things on the pain relief aspect, just for chiropractic alone, is huge. Not to mention all the obvious benefits to losing the weight as far as health itself goes. And again, these are all services that don't really involve my time. So I'm putting that on someone else. So I still have time to treat all of my patients on the chiropractic end. And the things they're doing is really just making my life easier as far as getting them better faster too.
Yeah, that's amazing. What were some of the maybe struggles that you came to when you first started kind of thinking about, hey, I think I want to do a weight loss program, things like that. But like, what was maybe some of the things that came up for you when you first started thinking about launching this?
So as far as where we're getting the product from was a big thing for starters. I know there's several different compounding pharmacies out there, but you're procuring the most cost efficient price and getting it in a timely fashion. I know that some of these places have a pretty good backlog or a shortage on things. We've come across a couple different companies that we've got some pretty good competitive pricing on. And I know we kind of briefly talked, you might have some things in the works, so we'll save that for another day. But also in our area, advertising is a weird thing. Like we don't have, I know newspapers are kind of a thing in the past, but we don't have anything that publication wise that goes to every household in our area. We're a town of 30,000 people, but short of putting up a billboard, which if anybody's ever spent a bunch of money on a billboard before and wasted money, been there, done that. Facebook and online things are really your biggest social media. And just ways of getting word out, but then unless they're on your Facebook page or, friend of a friend kind of thing, how do we advertise to the other 25,000 people in my town? So just trying to figure out how I let people know what's going on in an area that is under advertised, I guess.
Yeah, let's kind of talk about that a little bit. So, you obviously signed up with us. What were the things that you saw and what we were doing compared to maybe some of the other traditional marketing methods that other people do?
Well, I think you and I started talking last year and it was fourth quarter and I was like, I'm too busy to try to add anything else to my mix because again, I'm the one doing all of the things. So when I was looking for something that didn't involve so much of my time, when you sent me the video on this is how we're doing things and really kind of how simple it was to just pull from what I already had to make a difference on that end. That's been pretty easy to kind of add just one simple little habit into my day to really project into pretty good growth for once I actually got signed on and once we got things going, I'd say we're probably really like 6 weeks into actually getting things going now and I have no complaints at all with the ROI I've gotten from the system. So very happy with my choice.
Yeah. So what exactly has been your ROI, in those 6 weeks since you kind of got up and going?
So since we actually launched the weight loss program, got all of our ducks in a row on that end and just kind of went live with it. As you said, it's been about 6 weeks. We have 11 clients signed up and we're just kind of scratching the surface on that. Being a medical program, my physician assistant is on vacation this week, so I can't add new people without her. So otherwise we'd probably be a little higher than that. But just on 11 people alone in 6 weeks, we've got an ROI of 17,000 plus. And
Wow, that's
it's going to
amazing.
continue on that. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. So compared to my initial investment, I've almost doubled that. So,
And the other thing I think too is, this is not, kind of the normal marketing that most people are teaching. And I think sometimes people look at, well, I want someone else to handle my marketing, especially,
right.
In your space. But what has this been like for you to kind of be able to control it versus leaving it up to somebody else?
Uh, for me, putting things in other people's hands, I think as a business owner, you're a little bit of a control freak or you wouldn't own a business to begin with. So having that sense of control as far as like when I am making the different posts, as far as actually putting the weight loss into things out there. And for me, I mean, Fridays work best because I actually have the weekend to manage all of these comments and messages that are coming in on people who are interested in this. Because if I put that post out on Monday, I'm busy doing my job all week long. There is no way. And a lot of things are going to fall through the crack. But I know that it's getting handled because I'm the one doing it. But also my office manager is able to get in on our stuff and help me on that and things too. So I do have some help on that. So it's not all just me, but it's not also an outside agency that can't promise you any results for sure. So I
Yeah,
like having the control on that end.
for sure. And I think a lot of people in the health space want to leave it up to other people
Mhm.
to kind of decide, whether or not they can get them quality leads. But like, I know one of the things you were concerned with was, hey, my area
Mhm.
is not a super high income area.
Right.
I'm not sure if people are willing to pay that price, but like, what have you seen since you started with us as far as like quality of client? And then also, are they willing to pay, $1,600?
So as you said, when we started talking, I was like, we're kind of in a low rent district area. Um, so when we moved forward with going with the program, I was like, weight loss is something that people pay for. Vanity sells. So it is what it is. They may fight you on $40 copay 3 times a week, but they're like, oh, I can lose 20 pounds. And it's tax time. I'll find the money. What do I got to do? Where do I sign up? So really that's not been an issue. And as far as quality of client, since we are pulling from our current Facebook profile, like our personal page, you already kind of know who's on your page. So when you've got the people reaching out to you, judgy or not, you kind of already have an idea this person probably doesn't really have the money. They're kicking the tires, but you'd be surprised who can come up with the money because they're smoking a $10 pack of cigarettes. So
Yeah.
they can come up with the money they want to have the money for.
Yeah, I always find the people that somehow don't have the money are the ones that, are drinking Starbucks every day,
Right.
smoking and, all those other things. So, the good thing is like you're finding, kind of like your ideal people, through your social media channel, and you already know like you have a following. It's just understanding how to tap into it.
Right.
So let's say, there's a chiropractor. He's like, I have a weight loss program. the traditional way of me marketing it hasn't been great. Like, what would you tell them about, this style of marketing and how it might benefit them and be different?
For starters, it's completely different than any sort of other marketing and advertising I've done in the past. As I said, I've been doing this for 16 years. I've been with different consulting companies, different coaching companies, and this just goes about it in a completely different way that I feel is a little bit more untapped, but pretty systematic and organized. And I don't have to go set up a vendor booth, and I don't have to go door to door. Nobody likes to do the screenings and that sort of stuff. So this is completely different from that. And like you said, you already have the audience there, and you do a good job of showing how to tap into that.
Awesome. So what has been maybe an unexpected result you've gotten out of our program since you've been in?
I will honestly say that I had no idea how, I don't want to use the word tedious because that sounds like work, but these Facebook posts, I am getting so much engagement from that if it wouldn't be for my office manager being able to help kind of manage those with me, keeping that interaction, I never dreamed that we would have the amount of engagement that we do on our daily posts, let alone when we get to the ones that are actually like, hey, here's the program we've got going. And then the amount of feedback we get from that, we get a ton of engagement. And I guess I just didn't expect it to be that positive.
Got it. And, prior to this, were you really doing anything on your Facebook profile, when it comes to marketing or when it comes even just being, consistent?
So for my personal Facebook page, I really wasn't one who posted a whole lot at all. And I had some patients on my Facebook page, but I don't put a whole lot of personal stuff out there in general because I felt like, there should be a pretty good divide between my personal life and then the patients that were on my page. I'd share some business stuff, but I really kind of kept it more as a personal page, but still pretty private. So the amount of content I did post, it was very minimal, maybe some random pictures from a concert we went to over the weekend or something like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times the common question is like, well, I've never used my personal profile, for anything. I've never really even posted on there. And so kind of what I'm hearing you say is like, look, I never really posted much on there outside of every once in a while. I might post something that we did. Outside of that, you weren't really doing anything. I know you were doing stuff on your business profile, but like you weren't seeing much success from that. And so that's kind of why you transitioned to what you're doing now. What do you kind of see as the future for you moving forward, knowing the results you've gotten with what you've done so far?
I was always told if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I said we've more than doubled our ROI in 6 weeks and we're just getting started. So just keeping the system going, adding more people onto the page and keeping the engagement rolling and diversifying some of the posts. Not broke, don't fix it.
Awesome. And what has been kind of the community aspect for you with being in a group of other health professionals, chiropractors, seeing some of the things they're doing? Like, how has that been for you?
I think anytime you have a good support system, it's huge. If nothing else, it just gives you different ideas, different ways of doing the same similar sort of concepts that we're all involved in. So like having those messenger groups, that's been huge. The weekly calls, the ones I'm able to get on, that's been pretty helpful as well.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Can't wait to see what you do moving forward. Any last words for any chiropractors, health professionals out there?
Anybody who's got questions about, how this works, I'm always skeptical on these things too, but like I said, I'm 6 weeks into actually rolling with it and we've doubled our ROI. I think it's always worth a phone call with Jesse. If you have any questions, he at least steer you into letting you know what he's doing. If it's right for you or you have any questions, it's definitely worth the phone call.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much again for joining us today. We appreciate you as a client and just being a part of the habit-based lifestyle community. If you guys want to find out more about what we're doing inside the habit-based lifestyle program, specifically the marketing accelerator, you can always reach out to me, Jesse at habitbasedlifestyle.com. You can also go into the show notes. You can join our private Facebook group, Habit-Based Lifestyle and Business Secrets. Until next episode, have a great day.
You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewell. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.